Here's a mistake I see constantly right now. Someone learns about AI agents, they get excited. They spend a week building a complex multi-step system with tools, memory, decision loops, the whole thing, and then the workflow breaks. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's impossible to debug. The frustrating part? A simple automation would have done the exact same job in an afternoon. So, in this video, I want to give you a clear framework for knowing when to use an AI agent and when you're just making your workflow harder than it needs to be. First, why does this even matter right now? Every major AI tool is pushing the word agent. ChatGPT has agentic capabilities. Zapier talks about AI teammates. Make describes adaptive decision-making. And 8N lets you build AI agents inside automations. Google and Anthropic are also moving in this direction. AI systems that connect with tools, files, apps, and business data. The shift is real. AI is moving from answering questions to taking actions. And for creators, marketers, freelancers, and small business owners, that's a genuine opportunity. Less repetitive work, faster research, smarter content workflows. But it's also where confusion starts. Because if a tool can reason, browse, write, and connect to your apps, it becomes tempting to use it everywhere. And that's where workflows start to break. Here's the thing most people miss. An AI agent is not automatically better because it's more advanced. It can also be slower, harder to debug, more expensive, and less predictable than a basic automation. The real question isn't, should I use an AI agent? The better question is, which part of this workflow actually needs reasoning, and which part only needs a rule? That's the distinction that changes everything. Let me break it down into 3 levels. Level 1 is basic automation. This is for repeatable tasks with clear rules. A form is submitted, add it to the CRM, a payment fails, send a reminder. A meeting is booked, create a calendar event, no thinking required. Just move data. Level 2 is AI-assisted automation. This is a normal automation, but with an AI step inside it. Summarize an email, classify a lead, draft a reply, rewrite a content snippet. The structure is fixed. The AI handles the messy language part. Level 3 is an AI agent. This is for multi-step work where the system needs to reason, inspect information, make decisions, and move between tools. The path is not always obvious. The agent has to figure it out. Most people skip straight to level 3. That's the mistake. Before you build anything, ask 4 questions about the workflow. Is the task triggered by a clear event? Is the input structured? Are the steps always the same? Is the output low risk? And then ask the most important question. Does this workflow need judgment, or does it just need to move information? If the answer is move information, use automation. If the answer is move information but the content is messy, use AI-assisted automation. If the task is unclear, multi-step, and full of exceptions, then an agent might actually make sense. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Take lead capture and qualification. Old way, a lead fills out a form. Someone checks the inbox, someone reads it, someone decides if it's worth following up, then someone adds notes to a CRM and writes a reply. Basic automation already handles part of this. Form submitted, add to CRM, notify the team, send confirmation email. Done. You don't need an agent for that. AI-assisted automation is where it gets useful. The system summarizes the lead's request, classifies it by service type, estimates urgency, and drafts a reply for a human to approve. An agent only makes sense if the process is more complex. Research the lead's company, compare it with your ideal customer profile, check past interactions, and prepare a custom brief before the sales call. That's multi-step, that's changing inputs. That's where the agent earns its place. Now take content repurposing. Old way, publish a YouTube video, then manually turn it into a newsletter, a LinkedIn post, a Twitter thread, a blog outline, and shorts hooks, repetitive and slow. A basic automation can trigger the process. Transcript added to a folder, send to a document, create a task. AI-assisted automation does the heavy lifting. Summarize the transcript, extract key points, draft social posts, suggest shorts hooks, prepare a newsletter draft. A full agent is probably overkill unless the system needs to check past performance, choose the best angle per platform, and prioritize which content pieces to push first. That's a high bar. Most creators don't need it. Now, a few things people don't talk about enough. Agents can fail in subtle ways. A simple automation usually breaks visibly. A field doesn't map. A trigger doesn't fire. You can see it. An agent might complete the task, but summarize incorrectly, choose the wrong source, or draft a confident response that misses the point entirely. That's harder to catch and harder to fix. Privacy is also a real concern. Agents need access to email, files, calendars, CRMs, and customer data. The more tools you connect, the more carefully you need to think about permissions. Don't give an agent more access than it needs. Don't let it take irreversible actions without an approval step. And over-automation is a real failure mode. Just because something can be automated doesn't mean it should be. Customer complaints, sensitive sales replies, legal language, financial decisions, these need a human close to the final action. I can assist, but keep your hand on the wheel. Here's the reframe I want to leave you with. The next phase of AI productivity won't belong to the people who use the most advanced tool every time. It will belong to the people who design the simplest, reliable workflow for the job. Sometimes that workflow is an agent. Sometimes it's a basic automation. Often, it's a hybrid of both with a human approval step in the middle. The hype says, build an agent for everything. The practical answer is, build the simplest system that works. So here's what I want you to do after this video. Pick one workflow you've been thinking about automating. Write down the trigger, the input, the decision, the action, and the risk. Then ask yourself 3 questions. Is this task repeatable? Does it need judgment? Could a mistake cause real damage? Repeatable and low risk, start with automation. Needs language understanding? Add an AI step. Needs flexible reasoning across tools? Test an agent carefully with limits and approvals. That's the whole framework. If this was useful, subscribe. I publish videos on AI workflows, systems, and productivity every week. And drop a comment. What's one workflow you've been thinking about automating? I read every reply.